Ever wondered if your Mac is underperforming? If you have spare 4 minutes, check it with Clean My Mac. It gives you a full health report.
I'll give you the context. So 6 sitting Democrats in Congress made a video saying that, well, if Trump gives you an illegal order, you don't got to follow it because you don't got to follow illegal orders. That's all they said.
Okay.
And then Trump was like, die.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've never claimed that I don't have contentions with Trump. I think that there's a lot of things that he's done that I have contentions with. I don't blindly follow anybody. I'm not like in the corner of the ring for all 12 rounds, no matter what. So absolutely, I condemn him for certain things. It's just interesting to me.
But you said if somebody said it to you, would it make him president?
If someone said it to me,
right.
I wouldn't make them president.
which is no better or worse than somebody saying it to somebody else. If
I
anything,
disagree.
it's worse
I disagree.
if anything, it's worse when Donald Trump says it to the 6 sitting Democrats in Congress because he's the president and he has like
I disagree, dude.
millions of followers from across the nation, and he could actually influence the material actions of others, which has been reported on by the 6 Democrats who we ushered the call for their execution of. They said that they have been getting spam called with like phone calls from a bunch of Trump supporters saying that they're going to show up, kill them, kill their family, kill their kids, so on and so forth. And they all had to hire a bunch of additional like private security. Like, yeah, like clearly that's going to be much worse than some random on TikTok hopping in your DM saying die. But both are wrong, admittedly.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I would say the only reason why it wasn't directed towards me. So like if Trump, I've never met Trump, right? Trump has no idea who I am. Zero clue. For him to issue a death threat towards me for no reason whatsoever, that would be very, very strange. I would have no understanding. There's no context to why he would do so. Whereas to the 6 sitting Democrats who probably slandered his name, try to make him out to be this pedo, which you do on a daily basis, right? He would have some animosity towards these individuals, while I am just some random Republican who he doesn't know. So yes, I would have a contention with him and not vote for the individual that doesn't know me and has no reason to issue said death threat.
Okay, so the argument
no
here
context.
Is that if Donald Trump had no reason to call for their death, then you wouldn't vote for Trump.
Yes.
Okay, so then what was the reason he had to call for their deaths?
I'm sure that he was slandered by them. I'm sure that they are vocal non-supporters and agree with him being a pedo and a grapist and a piece of shit human being.
Oh, this is where you being uninformed really bites a bullet on your end. So once again,
okay. Were they Trump supporters?
The reason why he called for their execution is because they made a video saying that if Trump gives you an illegal order, you don't have to follow it. That's the reason why he called for their execution. So now we need to determine if that's a good reason or yes, that's it. That's it, buddy. He accused them of being seditious traitors. Like in like that direct call for their execution, hang them, George Washington Wood. Where do you think the George Washington Wood part's coming from? Well, once again, it's because they're traitors, and George Washington would hang a traitor. He fought in the Revolutionary War. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with that.
Okay, because Donald Trump did have good reason to call for the execution, you're not a Trump supporter.
Well, that's not how that works. But
well, I mean, that's what you told us less than 20 seconds ago. We're not dumb, Brad. You literally just said that if he didn't have good reason to do it, then you wouldn't vote for him. You want to vote for him, you don't support him.
That's not what I said.
I'll literally roll back the VOD right now, Brad. Let's take a listen together.
Yes,
You're arguing that it was worse when people do. A direct call. He accused them of being seditious traitors. Like
orders and we have a fact-based measure, but if it's based off of an opinion, that's not a fact. Do you understand that, Dean?
Well, the thing is that our opinions are supposed to be based off of facts, you idiot.
Well, no, a lot of people. You're saying
right. You're saying by the way, now you're like, no. By the way, you're totally now justifying everybody who flooded your DMs with death threats because, in their opinion, they had reason to do so, even if you disagree with it.
they had reason to do so in their mind. That was their subjective opinion, right? That I should be unalived.
Yeah, and you
And
should
my
take
s-
no problem with that because it's all subjective and apparently objective truth doesn't exist.
Well,
They could just believe whatever they want.
It would be my subjective truth that was uncalled for, and you actually agreed with.
Yeah,
my
but you
subjective
can't
truth.
invalidate their subjective truth because
But
it's all
you
subjective.
agreed. But you agreed with me.
Wait, you actually can't validate me agreeing with you because it's all subjective.
But
You
you told
like
me
you're placing like a measure of like
so you're a
validation
liar.
or
So you're a liar.
invalidation. No. What I'm saying is that you're placing a measure of validation and or invalidation on the opinions of others when you just got done arguing that like it literally doesn't fucking matter that Donald Trump called for the execution of these 6 sitting Democrats
Dean,
in Congress
don't pivot.
because
Do you
all
agree with your
beliefs.
chat?
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business. With Wix, you can grab yours now and then get to work. Here's why it matters. Back in 2019, I had this killer business idea, but I delayed getting the domain name because I wasn't ready. That was a huge
Said
What you're proving right
you
now
just
is that
said
is that opinion should be based
that
in facts.
you agree with your chat that I should be unalived.
Yeah, so I
because
said-
don't agree with you
yeah.
politically.
So I said, for the purpose of this argument, I am agreeing with that. Now, can you describe to me why that's a bad thing to do?
What is your reason that you agree with them for me
Well,
being
it's just all
unalived?
subjective and trivial.
Wait, what is the subjective opinions that you hold
You're a really
that I
bad
should
person.
be unalived? I'm a really bad person.
Yeah.
So because you think someone's a really bad person, they should be unalived.
Yeah. A sufficiently bad person. Yes.
What is the sufficient characteristics that I meet?
I don't
that
know. It's all
qualify me
subjective and
being
trivial.
unalived?
It's just my opinion.
Right. What are your subjective criteria that I meet that allows me to be unalived in your scenario?
Your name's Brad and you're a Trump supporter.
Okay. So Brad, Trump supporters should be killed.
Yeah, that's my
because-
subjective opinion. Can you invalidate that?
Listen, you said it, bro, not me. That's your
Are you-
opinion.
So are you going to invalidate that opinion? Are you going to say that's a bad opinion to hold?
I would say so. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for proving my point. Absolutely.
I would say so.
Listen, that's my point. That would be a bad opinion to hold. Absolutely. I don't actually support the people calling for your death in your DMs. That was for the purpose of the argument to demonstrate that when you were sitting here telling us, right, that Donald Trump called for the execution of these 6 sitting Democrats in Congress, but you don't really care because objective truth doesn't exist and everything is just subjective and trivial. And from his perspective, he had his reasons. Okay. Well, yeah, people can hold opinions that they shouldn't hold. Like when pedophiles hold the opinion that 13-year-old girls can consent to sex and that's why they DM them. And then when they quote unquote say yes, they meet up with them and rape them. Okay. Well, from your perspective, you'd say that objective truth doesn't exist. Everything is subjective. Everything is trivial. We should invalidate this rapist pedophile because he believed that 13-year-old girls can consent. No, absolutely not. Because that is a bad, false belief to hold. Very similarly, a response to Donald Trump calling for the execution of the 6 sitting Democrats in Congress, saying that they're seditious traitors, therefore they deserve to die.
Dean.
Okay, well, we could absolutely invalidate that opinion and condemn it because they're not actually seditious traitors the same way that 13-year-old
Dean.
girls can't actually consent to sex.
Dean, that was very bad faith. So we both agree that child rapists should be unalived. That at least I do. Do you hold that same opinion?
Yeah, I do. But this is where your whole
Okay, hold
everything's
on,
subjective,
hold on.
everybody has an opinion
So-
argument goes
no,
out
no,
the
no.
window because we
no,
could
no,
agree
it's
and
not, because
condemn the
luckily-
opinions of other individuals.
Because, hold on, Dean, because luckily we live in a land of laws. And so even though somebody might think it's okay, we both don't, and our legal system upholds the same belief that we do. So subjective opinions are irrelevant when the law takes matters into the hands of the individual that did that heinous crime and punishes them.
Then why do
That's
you
not
believe that they should be
subjective.
killed given that's not what the law does?
What do you mean?
You just got done telling us that all child rapists should be unalived. The law doesn't unalive all child rapists.
No, I believe that they should be unalived. But if a child rapist,
Would you say
is
that's an
put
irrelevant
into-
opinion?
If a child rapist,
No, would
is
you say
put
that that
into-
opinion of yours is irrelevant? Or would you say that that opinion of yours is relevant?
relevant to me?
Okay, so this whole thing that our opinions are irrelevant is completely bullshit. And by the way,
I
if
never
opinions
said opinions are irrelevant.
opinions are irrelevant and a fact is all that matters here, well, then we're just going to be evaluating the fact that Donald Trump called for the execution of 6 sitting
Why are you
Democrats in
muting the
Congress with
mic,
no
dude?
good
I thought
reason
we're having a
whatsoever.
good faith conversation.
Oh, I'm
Why are
sorry.
you
It's just my
muting the mic?
subjective opinion that it's something I want to do. You can't invalidate that since objective truth doesn't exist, Brad.
Oh no, I can ask you the question why you're doing so. You can continue to do
I guess it's just my subjective opinion that I don't have to answer that question. You can invalidate that because objective truth doesn't exist, Brad.
Sure, I accept that.
Okay,
because
thank you
have
so
your
much.
acceptive
Yeah, see
opinion
how
and
I'm
I have
able
my
just to back
subjective
you into
opinion.
whatever fucking corner I want you to? Now check
That's
this
not
out.
ba-
It's
that's
my
not backing
subjective
me into a
opinion
corner.
that Donald Trump raped E. Jean Carroll. Can you invalidate that subjective opinion, please?
Yes, because luckily we have facts, not just opinions.
Oh, like the
We
facts
need-
that the 6 sitting Democrats in Congress weren't actually guilty of sedition or treason because the oath that members of our military take when they join the military is to uphold the law, and if they're given an unlawful order, not to follow it per the UCMJ. Just to clarify, right, Brad? Just like those facts?
Well, I wouldn't say that is a fact. So the fact that you're saying that the fact that you're saying that Trump wanted to kill them, that's your subjective opinion. Because you can't know what
no,
he
I said
meant
that
by
Donald
his
Trump
words.
called for their execution. And you're saying that we can't know what he meant by his words. Well, words are actually the things that we use to communicate what we mean. like we're doing right now. Do you notice that in every conversation that we have on this live stream, we use words to communicate what we mean, and what we mean is what we believe? Like, let me ask you a question.
So show me.
Am
hold
I
on,
a
hold
Trump
on.
supporter? No. Am I a Trump supporter?
Dean, hold on. Dean,
Answer my
hold on.
question. Am I a Trump supporter?
I don't know.
Why don't you know if I'm a Trump supporter?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Because
don't
you
know if
can't
you're
trust
doing
words to communicate
Dean,
what we mean.
hold on, Dean.
That's a crazy. That's a, wait,
Dean, I don't know.
wait.
Because you could be doing this for financial
wait.
reasons.
Oh
You could
my
be doing
goodness.
This for,
Yo,
I'm not sure
bruh.
what your reason for doing this is. I don't know.
Wait. Answer this question. Okay.
Okay.
Is JD Vance a Trump supporter?
Yes, we have reasonable facts to back that he is a Trump supporter.
Such
He's
as
on the Republican. He's on the Republican card.
How do you know that he's just
ran-
not on the Republican card to get more power and money?
Well, he could be doing so, but. he
Oh, okay. So then you
supports-
can't know that he's a Trump
but
supporter
he-
based upon that
but
same
as
logic
the
that you just
sitting-
applied to me.
as the
Because you
sitting-
just said that
as
you
the
don't know
sitting-
I'm not
hold
a
on.
Trump supporter because I
As
could
the
be doing this for
as
power
the
and money.
sitting- As the sitting vice president for the Republican Party backing Trump, we have reasonable assumptions and facts to show that he is a Trump supporter. Not
Back
just
Trump with his
words.
words?
Not just words, actions.
Like what? Like what actions?
Like he is literally the sitting vice president.
I know, but couldn't he
for
just
Donald
be the
Trump.
sitting vice president for power?
You can assume that,
Well, I
But
know
that's
I'm
not based
positing.
in
Is
any-
that possible?
but that's not. Anything is possible, right? But that's not
Okay.
based in fact.
So then what fact corroborates that I'm doing this for money?
Dean, I didn't say that it was a fact that you're doing this for money. You
Well,
asked me if you're a Trump supporter.
You said you don't know if I'm a Trump
You
supporter or not because I
you
could be
asked-
doing it for money. That was your argument.
Nobody
Therefore, we
knows.
don't know if
Nobody
JD Vance
knows
is
if
a Trump
you're a Trump
supporter or not
supporter.
because he could be doing it for money.
Terrible argument. Nobody knows if you're a Trump supporter.
Therefore, nobody knows if JD Vance is a Trump supporter because both me and JD Vance could be doing it for money.
No, you could be doing all of this for money, but
And JD
JD
Vance
Vance
couldn't?
is sitting as the vice president for Donald Trump.
The same way I'm sitting on a live with 20,000 viewers against Trump. But because I'm sitting on a live with 20,000 viewers against Trump, you then take away the conclusion that, well, maybe he's just sitting on this live so he could make money, right? The same way
I
maybe
would
JD
say-
Vance is just sitting
I would say-
in the vice presidency so he could get power.
I would say there's more evidence to say that you are a non-Trump supporter.
Listen, I think the point that I'm trying to make here is
I
you
get
have
what
now
you're
just
trying to say,
completely
man.
broken down language where you're no longer arguing that people could communicate what they mean based on what they say, and that is stupid as fuck.
You can say that. That's your subjective opinion.
Wait, remember earlier when you were talking about all those death threats that you got from people?
Yep.
Yeah. How do you know that they mean it?
Oh, I don't. I just asked if you support it.
Oh, so you're arguing regardless if they mean it or not, it's a bad thing. So then regardless if Trump means it or not, it's a bad thing that we shouldn't support
I asked.
and we should get him out of the
Dean, I
other
asked
floor.
if you support it. That's all I asked.
Wait,
If
and
you
I answered
support
what?
your followers.
Wait,
you
why
said
did you
no.
ask? Why did you ask me that question?
Well, I don't support that. I think that that's not okay.
But why would you ask me if I do? Because ultimately, it doesn't matter what I say. That doesn't give you any information to inform you of what I actually believe.
No,
Because
no.
when you were asking me,
You're,
listen,
you're
when-
talking
when-
to me, Dean.
when you were asking me if I support the
There's the
people
mute again.
that sent you,
There's the
because
mute.
you're interrupting me. When you were asking me if I support the people that were like giving you death threats in your DMs, like I would assume that was some type of inquiry into my belief system, where you were attempting to inquire if I believe that you should have received death threats, or if I
For
don't
sure.
believe that you should have sent death threats. Okay.
For
So now
sure.
you're arguing that people can communicate their beliefs and what they mean with words, because ultimately the only medium that I could use to answer that question would be with words, to tell you that I don't support those death threats. So in other words, you think me using words to communicate to you that I don't support the death threats that you received in your DMs is indicative of response to the inquiry of communicating what I believe to you. So we absolutely can use somebody's words to determine what they mean and or what they believe. So when Donald Trump is like, kill these Democrats, we could reliably use those words as an inquiry into what he believes, i.e. he wants those Democrats to die.
Yeah, he didn't say kill these Democrats, though. That's the problem.
That was hyperbole. What he did say was that they're seditious traitors.
You do that
the
a lot.
punishment for being a traitor is death. Hang
You
them,
use
George
hyperbole
Washington
a
Wood
lot.
on the repost.
You know that, right? You use hyperbole a lot.
Yes,
You're very guilty of that.
It's very meaningful. I love hyperbole. So
Right,
what he
it's
did
to
say
incite
is these
emotion
people
out
are
of your chat.
traitors. No, it's just simply
You're very good at that.
It's just simply to sum up what actually occurred in a way and keeps
No,
people's
it's not,
attention. It's
Dean.
quite funny. Yes, because
No,
he wants
Dean,
them to be
it's-
dead. When
It's
let me
the
ask you a
same-
question.
You're guilty.
Brad,
Hold on. Can I
Brad-
respond? Can I respond?
No, because you're
please?
not talking about the meat on the bone. You're saying, Dean, I hate you. You're not saying, Dean, here's how you're wrong.
I don't hate Dean.
okay?
I don't. Dean, let's get. I do
More
not hate
fucking hyperbole, Brad. Sit
you.
down.
I don't hate you.
So what Donald Trump did say is that they're
don't know
seditious
you.
traitors. The punishment for their sedition and them being traitors is death. And then he reposted a comment that says hang them. Okay. So let me ask you this question. Brad, are you a rapist?
Am I a rapist?
Yeah.
No, Dean. I'm not.
So
a
if I went on my
rapist.
Instagram account, I said, Brad is a rapist. Rapists
Yep.
all deserve to die. And then I reposted a post that says, kill Brad because he's a rapist. Okay. Would I be advocating for your death?
Yes.
So if Donald Trump says these people are traitors, traitors deserve to die. Okay. Hang them because they're traitors. Is that him advocating for their death?
But that's hyperbole again, Dean. That's not what he said.
Okay. So in one scenario, it is advocating for the death. Yet in the other scenario, it's not advocating for
No,
the death.
Dean. You explicitly said Brad is a rapist. Brad should die. That is you calling me out specifically. He did not do that.
Yes, he did.
Show me where he listed the names of these individuals and called for their death.
Okay, yeah,
The
sure.
president
By
of the
responding to the
United States of
article that
America,
was
Donald
written
Trump,
about
is
them.
now
I'll show you on
demanding
screen.
Show me where
really
he
bad
pointed them out.
unlawful orders
Of
by
course.
saying that this is
By
really
responding
bad
to
and
the
dangerous
article
to our
from the
country, and that
Washington
words cannot be
Examiner
ratified
that's
unlawful
titled
orders.
Democratic
By
Veterans in
saying that
Congress
this is
urged
really
members
bad
to refuse
and
unspecified
dangerous to our
unlawful
country,
orders,
and that
by then
their words
responding
cannot be allowed
and
to
calling
stand.
these
He
specific
then followed that
Democrats
up with a
seditious
second
traitors,
post that
and then responding
this is
by
seditious
saying
behavior,
seditious behavior, punishable by death, referring to
he
those specific
reposted a
Democrats'
comment
seditious
that reads,
behavior,
quote,
and then
unquote,
reposting
hang
hang them, George Washington Wood, them being those specific seditious Democrats.
So he didn't say hang them, George Washington Wood. He reposted that.
Yeah, the same way in the analogy, I reposted somebody else saying kill Brad. But you still said
You
I was
didn't say-
advocating for your death.
You didn't say it. No, Dean. You did not say that, dude.
I did.
You didn't say that. You didn't say you reposted that statement. You said
I
you
did.
said it.
No, I said I reposted that statement, Brad.
I don't think you did.
I did.
Can you play back?
Sure.
Okay.
Was the reason he had would that
There's no reason. Probably slandered his.
that doesn't give you
Talking
when or can communicate their I could other deter
That's the problem.
so
Right,
what he
it's
did
to
say
incite
is these
emotion.
are going to be
It's-
dead. When
it's
let me
this-
ask you, you're not saying Dean
Meredith,
Hall.
thank you
So
so
what
much.
Donald Trump
Thank you
for
for
their
the
sedition
galaxies.
and then be this question.
No, Dean. I'm not.
So, there you go, Brad. You're wrong.
Okay.
So then, okay, so now you understand that in that scenario where I'm like, Brad's a rapist, rapists deserve to die, repost a comment saying kill Brad, you agreed that I would be calling for your execution. So then when Donald Trump is like, these Democrats
you
are
already-
traitors,
No.
all traitors
No,
deserve to die, their sin is punishable by death, and then he reposts
You-
a comment saying kill these Democrats, hang them. Okay, he's
Dean,
calling
you
for their
already
death as
called.
well.
Dean, you already called for my death by saying Brad deserves to die. You reposting somebody saying kill Brad is just doubling down on what you already said. So
Okay.
not only did
Okay,
you
so then
say
Donald
it,
Trump called for their
but
death.
you said somebody else.
So then Donald Trump called for their death.
Can you pull up that clip again? Just so I have a good understanding. Just pull it up.
Oh my
Dean.
fucking
Pull it up.
God.
of the United States of America, Donald Trump, justified unlawful orders by saying that this is really bad and dangerous to our country and that their words
Yeah.
cannot be allowed to stand. He then
Where-
followed that up with a second post that reads, "This is seditious behavior, punishable by death." And then he reposted a comment that reads, quote unquote, "Hang them, George Washington would."
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, can we agree that we shouldn't be making people president who just want to kill their political opponents in Congress? Like that's clearly anti-American to the furthest extent. We're supposed to be like the land of the free, First Amendment rights, freedom of speech for all. We're not supposed to be the land of tyrants that think it's okay to advocate for the execution of their political dissenters.
Yes,
Like
I
the-
would agree with you, Dean. I would agree with you on that for sure. I don't know the context of that clip. It's weird that I've only heard you talk about this. Like, I don't know what the scenario was. All I have to base this off of is what you show me.
So
Like that-
if they genuinely didn't do anything to warrant that reaction, there's no good
Yes.
reason that Donald Trump had to give that reaction. Then could we agree in this hypothetical, I guess, that
Yeah.
clearly he shouldn't be president because it is just so like antithetical
super
to
uncalled
American
for.
values. It's just
Super
it's
uncalled
beyond just super uncalled for. It's antithetical to American core values. The core values of this country are supposed to be freedom of speech, freedom of political belief, and the rejection of tyrants and authoritarianism. But when we have a president that thinks it's okay to advocate for people's execution merely because they're political dissenters, and not just any political dissenters, but rather those in Congress, that this all of a sudden ushers us into a new era of modern Americanism where we no longer have this right to freedom of speech. We can't even say that members of our military should be able to disobey illegal orders like the Constitution tells them to without having their lives on the line. Okay, so like clearly, if he did this without sufficient reason, he shouldn't be president, right, Brad?
I already agreed with you, Dean, that if he did this for no reason and it's just calling for the death of these individuals in Congress, I do not agree with that.
As it stands, do we have any reason to believe that there was good reason?
I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
Viking hammer.
I'll have to look into that.
Okay. So if it's
But as
true,
But as
So
of
if-
right now,
so if it's
as of
true,
right now,
if it's
yeah.
true, the reason why he did this is because they told members of our military that if they're given an illegal order by Trump, they don't have to follow it. Then you wouldn't be a Trump supporter.
I would not support him in that sense. No.
Beta Brad, no way, no way. All right, this is the end of the convo, buddy. You got to go Google that. You got to go look at that because that's
I'll look into
exactly
it.
what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look into it.
See you, Brad. No fucking shot. What? No way. No way. That's wild. Least expected outcome ever. Wow, dude. Honestly, damn. Damn. Look at that. That's cool. I'm so surprised. Holy crap. Sammy, thank you so much for the fire pit Blitzy. I appreciate you, Sammy. You were awesome. Show some love to Sammy down below in that comment section. Dude. Wow, man. That's crazy. That's actually insane. I wasn't expecting that we were going to be able to possibly convert Brad. Ron, get off the damn phone, dude.
Hey, the thing
Get-
about it is,
Get off
were
the damn.
People keep asking, how do we actually get an AI agent on our team? Well, it's easy. Watch how I do it in 60 seconds on Monday. First, tell Monday what you need. We're creating an agent and naming him Tony. Now let's give him context. I'm giving Tony access to the relevant boards, let's say brand asset library, production board, and social initiatives. Now he has permissions for what we want him to know, but we still manage his access. So we have full control, and of course, every decision has a human in the loop. Now we let Tony get to work. Let's ask him for social content. He already learned our brand guidelines, our content calendar, and now he's suggesting social content for every channel according to our brand's tone of voice, awaiting my approval, of course. No code, no consultants, just execution. That's it. 60 seconds work, and my my team has an always-on partner for everything we do.
Off anything, you old punk.
Come on, ma'am. You know I'm right. You know he spends way too much damn time on that thing. Listen.
Oh, shit, you're the one who spends too much fucking time on here.
No, come on. He'd be better off like what? Like cuddling with you and whatnot, watching TV instead. He's just sitting on.
I thought of death of a lot of careers in the military too. I got rid of a lot of guys like you in the military.
What? Did you just say that you would kill people like me?
No, I said I got rid of their careers by getting them out of the service.
Oh, what do you mean people like me? Like, what would they do?
You wouldn't follow rules for one thing.
Okay, well,
if a president gives you an order and you're in the military, you have to do it.
Okay, so not if it's illegal, Ron.
How do you know what's illegal and what's not? I was in the military.
So the question, how would you know if something is illegal or not, is different from the fact if it's illegal, you don't have to follow it.
Until you can prove that it's illegal, you cannot stop following the rules.
No, it's not even until you can prove it. Like, for instance, if somebody gives you an illegal order, but you don't really know if it's illegal or not, and you side on the side of precaution, and it turns out to be illegal once it's proven, then you're good. You're in the free and clear.
Oh, you're also telling me, like, when my commanding officer told me to go over and unalive a 10-year-old,
okay,
that would be illegal, right?
Yes.
No, it wouldn't be.
Okay, Ron, we're back to killing the kids.
He shouldn't be doing.
And you're gone, Ron. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Only hop inside of that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president. Only hop inside of that queue if you happen to be MAGA. Oh my God. Only hop inside of that queue if you're MAGA, dude. Guys, that's on me. I take responsibility for that. That's my fault. I let him back up. I own that one. That's my mistake. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the queue. Only hop inside of the queue if you happen to be
letting me in.
American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president. Welcome in. Do you support Trump? All right, let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the box. Only hop inside of the queue if you're MAGA, please and thank you. We're going to get that next guest connected right now. Dude, holy fuck. Holy fuck. No more Ron, dude. That guy like salivates at the thought of killing kids. Oh my God. What are the chances that dude's like just straight insane? What? What are the chances? What are the chances that dude is just like completely nuts, out of his mind? Right, like went to war to kill, and he's really sad that his bones are brittle, and he can't really move too much anymore, so he can't like kill more people by go to war again. Ashley, thank you for the $1 on Venmo. Says, did he just admit to war crimes and child murder? Yeah, Ashley, he did. Lonnie, thank you so much for the $5. I appreciate you. Show some love to Lonnie down below in that comment section. That is LONI. Cat with the $8 who says, that was wild. Thank you for sticking with him to help him see the reality. Sheesh. Yeah, man, I'm really surprised with that conversation with Brad, honestly. Jeanette, thank you for the $10 who says, I need to stop watching these lives at work. I just yelled out, you're a fucking hyperbole, Brad, out loud, and they were guessing my lobby. I'm turning that into a t-shirt. Oh, Jeanette. I hope you were able to find a way to explain that. That's funny. That's funny. Dude, what the fuck? We have 2 hats. Wow, I just picked one up off the ground thinking that this was my one little tinfoil hat. I look over at my desk and I have 2. That's cool, dude. Wow. We're staying protected, guys. Hey, Antonio, I appreciate you for the $1. Jose, thank you for the $10. Who says for the this uninformed caller listed what he believes the 6 Congress people had said about Trump. Funny. That list exactly describes what Trump truly is. Fight on, Dean. So true, Jose. Thank you for the $10. Jessica, thank you so much for the $5. I appreciate you. Carter, thank you for the $20. I thank you so much, man. That is so much money. I appreciate you, dude. Let's get 200 Carter W's. Carter with the $20 says, why do these MAGA rats never understand that quote unquote overused points do not equal invalid points? I know, right, Carter? I hear this so very frequently from so many people that join this live stream that because I repeat many of the things that I say on live, that therefore that invalidates that the points are true, which makes no goddamn sense. Really good question, Carter. I ask myself that often. Antonio, thank you for the $4. And Vanessa, thank you so much for the $50 donation on Venmo, who says, you give hope. Thank you. Vanessa, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for your continued support. Please, I want to see 500 Vanessa W's down below in that chat while we're looking for the next guest. Genuinely, that is such an incredibly kind donation, and I am forever grateful. Thank you so much for the support. That is huge. Very, very kind of you, Vanessa. 500 Vanessa W's in that chat. Same thing to you, Poffle, over on PayPal with the $10 who says, you better watch out, Dean. Ronald's going to hang your career. I don't think that Ronald's going to do much outside of maybe eating some Wendy's and changing the channel from Fox to Newsmax. At least that's my guess, right? Caroline, thank you for the $20. Thank you. Who says, hey, Dean, I have a question. Would you say that Nazism and fascism are on the same level of the spectrum? Or should we make a separation between them? Because there are differences. And as a German, I would put Nazism even further to the right than fascism. Well, see, the thing is Nazism is a variant of fascism. Now, you could have like fascists who aren't Nazis. Now, you can't have Nazis who aren't fascists. That's like the best explanation. Welcome in, Air God. Do you support Trump? Okay, Air God's not here. We're going to move on to the next guest right now. We got the next guest, Cooper, loading up into the queue. Hey, Marianne, thank you for the $14. Who says, my subjective opinion is that Brad is an absolute tool. Arguably, that's also an objective opinion. No, so true. Absolutely objective. Nothing subjective about that. Cooper, welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
15.
Well, I appreciate you for your honesty, Cooper. We are looking for adults, so I'm going to go to Kiki, and we're going to move on to the next guest. Let's get that next guest ISO loaded up in the box. Mariana, thank you so much for the $20 on PayPal. That is Marina. Thank you for the love, Mariana. Mariana with the $20. Let's get 200 Mariana W's in that chat. Says, thank you, Dean, for doing what you're doing, for being a part of my routine. When you're live, I know it's time to get out of bed and to get ready for the day. Not only is it satisfying to listen to these people's arguments get disproven, but it's also like studying for me. That's awesome, Mariana. I'm so happy that the live streams are able to help you out in your day-to-day life and you take something positive away from them. Honestly, that's my main goal here. The main goal of these live streams isn't to change the mind of the person who I have on my stream. Because, like, folks, in all honesty, guys, a lot of the people who join my streams don't really change their minds. So when it happens, I'm usually surprised. Rather, my main goal is just to try to, educate the people who are watching. Samantha, thank you so much for the $30 donation on PayPal. Thank you, Samantha. Let's get 300 Samantha W's. Thank you for the love and support. Samantha with the 30 says, I love listening to you destroy these dudes every day at work and on my way home. I love that, Samantha. That's awesome. Thank you for the $30. Cinna, thank you so much for the $15 donation over on PayPal. And Ella and Linda. Oh my God. Ella, Thank you so much for the $100 donation. And Linda, thank you for the $50 donation. That is unfucking believably kind of you both. I want to see 1,000 Ella W's and 500 Linda W's. Genuinely, that is so much fucking money. I don't deserve it. Thank you both so much for your love and your generosity, for going like above and beyond to a level that I will never understand. I will never understand why individuals choose to be so unbelievably kind to me. Like, genuinely, I don't fucking deserve it. Ella with $100 did not attach a message, but then Linda with the 50 says, thank you for taking on the Magamore. So proud of you. Thank you so much, Ella and Linda. You guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please show some love to Ella and Linda in that chat. Same thing to Shadow over on Super Chat for the 10. I appreciate you, and I'm so happy that we can make your journey easier. Thick Frog, thank you for the $10. Who says, my cat Mikkel and I are tuning in. It's her first time watching live. Please give her a shout out. She's not a Trump supporter. Yo, shout out to Mikkel. That's awesome. Hell yeah. W Mikkel. African Warlord, thank you for the $20. Who says, please put on the red hat for these people. I think we're going to have to whip out that red hat here soon. We'll have to do it. Juliet, thank you for the $20 as well. I appreciate you guys. We're all caught up. If you want to support me, get a message across, ask a question, support what we do here, you can find the Venmo and the PayPal and the link tree in the bio on TikTok, pin message on YouTube. And right there, Dean Withers without the E in Withers. Now, welcome in. Do you support Trump, dude?
We are Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, you're really patient. Unfortunately, you get banned so quick. Let's go to get the next guest loaded up in the box right now. Where are the Trump supporters at, guys? We're looking. We got Chloe loading up into the box. I still need to go to the gym today. Fuck. God damn it. I forgot to go to the gym before I went live. Ooh, it's going to be a late night for me. Hey, welcome in. Do you support Trump? Chloe's not here. We're going to kick her out and move on. Ooh, it's going to be a late night. It's going to be a late night. I hate working out super late at night. God damn it. Why did I do this to myself? Oh, that's okay. It's fine. We'll get through it. Gotta work out. Can't skip. Can't skip, dude. Try to stay on top of it to the best of my ability. Let's go to get that next guest connected to the live stream right now. We got a couple people loading in. Hopefully one of them is a Trump supporter. We got Cookie Monster loading up in the box. Welcome in, Cookie Monster. Do you support Trump?
How you doing, man? Yeah, I do. Good question. Is there any shot you could just hold me on the side for like 2 minutes? I just finished up something, but I am a Trump supporter.
Yeah, man, if you want to hop back inside of a queue, that's fine. You sound like you're about like 5 million light years away from your microphone. We got the next guest, Lucas, loading up in. Lucas's bio says Trump 2026.
Yo, Dean, what's going on, my man?
Lucas, you're trolling, right?
No, dude, we're back. I want to try to debate you this time, man.
Lucas, your bio says Trump 2026. You understand that like Trump's not running in 2026.
No,
right?
I know. I support him in 2026, though.
What is Trump running for in 2026?
No, I just support him in the year of 2026.
Oh, you just support him in 2026.
Yeah. Dean, I'm going to actually ask you the question. Why don't you support Trump?
Oh, wow. Usually end up people regret asking that question. Would you prefer a paragraph response, a page response, a paper response, a thesis response?
Let's do a beautiful page response, Dean. Let's do a beautiful one. Let's do a page. Let's do a page, Dean.
Okay, Lucas. Well, I break my reasons why I don't support Trump down to the 3 main categories. If you've watched the live stream much before, you probably heard these categories for the audience. That would be character, domestic policy, and foreign policy. We'll start off with character. He's a rapist. He's a sexual predator. He's barged into the dressing rooms of naked women and girls to oogle their naked bodies unconsensually. That's bad. Who's best friends with Epstein? He's named in the files over 1 million times. He's personally accused by a victim of Epstein's. Credibly, by the way, he's racist. In the 70s, he refused to rent to black people because they're black people, and then he was sued for it. He's like super narcissistic. He's so insanely narcissistic that when he lost the 2020 election, he tried to end the American democracy and coup the government. He's super apathetic. The people who helped him try to coup the government, who raided the Capitol, attempting to kill cops in the process, are all people he considers to be patriots who he let out of jail by giving them free and full presidential pardons, who he's now set up a $1.8 billion slush fund to line their pockets with millions for the weaponization of the DOJ under the Biden-Harris administration, which in all reality was a prosecution of crime. He's super corrupt. Most corrupt president we've had in a long time. Once again, J6 last week. Okay. He barred the federal government from ever investigating him, his family, and his companies for tax fraud on any tax return up until this point again in their life, creating a new system of justice where if you and Donald Trump commit the same crime, you could go to jail for it and he can't be investigated for it. That is corruption 101. Okay? He is a moron. We saw that he refused to abide by a court order to feed out food stamp benefits for 16 million American starving children. He defunded USAID, which in the next 10 years is projected to kill 14 million people. Okay? He overturned Roe v. Wade to score political points with the GOP, and that has now led to 60 pregnant rape victims being denied access to abortion in 10 of our states every 24 hours. But you asked for a paper. Low-key, I'm setting myself up for a thesis, so I got to wrap this up. Domestic policy sucks, killed the economy, okay? Killed social safety nets, killed the low class, killed the working Americans, the working American class, working class, sorry. Foreign policy sucks, started a war he promised not to, destabilizing the Middle East, not supporting our allies, threatening to end global allyships like the UN, like NATO, pulled out of WHO, and promised to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine on day one. Year and a half into his term, Russia's only gotten the upper hand. If I had to reduce it down to a page, that would be the page, but there's so much more.
Well, all right, Dean, I want to start off with one of the first things you said, that he is a rapist. Dean, I don't believe it. You showed me the clips. We actually talked about the clips. We had a very good conversation about the clips. We had a very long conversation about the clips. Dean, hit it on the open, man, by the way. It's all good. The vape, you don't got to hide the vape. But anyways. Oh, I love your Trump hat. I love it, dude. You have a lovely hat. You have a beautiful hat, Dean. You should wear it. Put it on.
Oh, don't worry, I will.
Okay. Or you could put on the tinfoil hat if you want to also. I think that's pretty funny. But anyway, so I would like to talk about Donald Trump being a rapist. We actually have zero proof that Donald Trump's a rapist. We heard the clip, but I actually told you that it sounded like the clip was cut, and I did not believe it. So what do you have to say about that?
God, Lucas, you're a real moron. So you're not even talking about his rape case. You're talking about a sexual exploitation case when he barged into the dressing rooms. Two different things. So the claim is we have zero proof that he sexually exploited women. No, we do. He admitted to it. You just think that his admittance was clipped up with no reason whatsoever because, once again, you're a moron. That's a you problem, not a me problem. Prove that that clip was faked.
All right, so let's even talk about sexual exploitation. Yes, it's a crime, correct? But you got to think of it like there's a ranking of crimes. I would say, yeah, it's definitely up there. But I think in Trump's case, if we even want to call that sexual exploitation, he's not even really doing anything wrong. Okay, like sure, these women are all over the age of 18. None of them are under the age of 18. So what? Women put their bodies online every day, and a lot of men look at it actually nude. They put their nude body pictures online, Dean. So why would it be wrong for Donald Trump to go walk in a room and look at naked women? And who said they were naked either? Does that taste good, Dean? That tastes good. You wanna let me know how? Well, let me know how that is wrong on that level, because not necessarily. If it was 100% against their will, yeah. But I mean,
I got one challenge for you. Try Whisperflow once, one time. And I promise you'll understand why I haven't typed a full sentence in 6 months. Next time you open ChatGPT, don't type your prompt. Just talk it out. And I mean through Whisperflow, not ChatGPT's built-in voice. When you speak, you'll get 5 times more detail than when typing in half the time. And when you use Flow, you get the fastest, most accurate dictation. The prompt gets richer and cleaner. The answer gets better. Plus, it works in any app on any device. So the next time you need to send a text or an email, just speak it using Flow. AI polished, ready to send. What used to take minutes takes seconds now. And next time you have an idea on the go, don't let it disappear. Just speak it, brain to screen in real time. How many good ideas have you lost because typing was just too slow? One dictation, that's all it takes. Just try it once for free. And let me know if you went back to typing.
women are whores. Like, that was essentially the difference between you seeing a naked woman on the beach and then barging into a woman's dressing room and seeing naked women is that in one scenario, consent is present, and in the other scenario, consent isn't present. This is identical to saying a woman got raped, so what? It doesn't matter because
No, Dean,
I had
Dean,
consensual
Dean,
sex with her
let's
2
be
weeks
honest
ago.
here.
No.
Dean,
Listen to what I'm
please.
saying. No, listen to what
I'll
I'm saying.
listen.
Listen to what I'm
Go
saying.
ahead.
You're saying, oh, this woman got raped, so what? It doesn't matter. It's not wrong because she had consensual sex with her husband 2 days ago. Oh, wow.
Dean.
We're able to identify 2 scenarios of this woman having sex. Clearly, the
Dean.
difference is that in the first scenario, it's with consent, and in the second scenario, it's without consent. And it's the consent factor there that
Dude.
makes a difference.
My guy, you just told me, Dean, rape is a completely different thing than having no consent to look at a female's nude body.
There is no difference within this sense.
There's a huge difference.
Why is rape wrong?
Physical touch.
Why is
Rape
rape
is
wrong?
physical touch.
Why is rape wrong?
Because it's unconsensual and you're
Yes,
just like, oh.
that's what I'm getting at. That right there is what I'm getting at. The reason why it's wrong to barge in to a woman's dressing room and look at her when she's naked is because it's unconsensual. That's the parallel that I'm making between the circumstance of rape and the circumstance of barging into a woman's dressing room. You try to justify men barging in to women's dressing rooms and looking at their naked bodies because maybe that woman consented to her naked body being on the internet. Maybe that woman consented to her naked body being on a nude beach. Maybe that woman consented to her naked body being on OnlyFans. Well, none of that matters because if you're looking at her naked body unconsensually in a dressing room, then it's wrong. Okay, the same way that rape is always wrong, even if she consensually had sex with her husband the night before, she consensually, I don't know, had a fucking orgy with 40 people the 2 days before, and consensually got like blasted by a train on Pornhub the week before. None of that matters because as long as the sexual action that you're engaging in directed towards that woman is without consent, then it is wrong. And that should, dude, we should, listen, you are scaring the shit out of me because we as men should know this. We as men should have learned this when we were boys. We as men should have known this from the moment that we had enough autonomy to open a door because we didn't want to open doors to the little girl's restroom and fucking pre-K. Like this isn't something that you are like that you learn because somebody else tells you it at the ripe age of like 19 or whatever you said you were. No, this is something that you're supposed to know when you're still in diapers, is that it's wrong to do sexual things with people or to people without consent.
Okay, so Dean, let me ask you a question. I actually have 3 questions for you. My main question though is, so if rape was consensual, let's hypothetically say, you asked somebody if you could, grape them, and they said sure. Does that make it right if they consent to a violent rape? If they
That's a
want
contradiction. You're like saying if a square was a circle, squares can't be circles. Rape can't be consensual.
We're talking about
because
rape
the definition,
and shapes right now, dude.
the
We're
definition
talking about
of rape.
shapes and rape.
Listen, the definition of rape is unconsensual sex. So if you're saying if unconsensual sex was consensual, well, unconsensual sex can't be consensual because unconsensual sex possesses the property of being unconsensual. And if it doesn't possess the property of being unconsensual because it's consensual, well, then it's not rape.
Well, then that would just be unconsensual rape. I'm talking about what if somebody literally wanted to be raped and they asked to be raped and in a violent way? Does that make that okay then?
Like, you listen,
Dean,
by like literally asking for something, right? You are consenting to receiving that thing. And we're not talking about, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. By literally asking for something, you are like consenting to receiving that thing. And we're not talking about like the man excuse, oh, she asked for it. No, we're like literally talking about asking for it, like actually asking for it. And that is therefore consensual. An unconsensual act of sex can't be consensual. Like it like the same way that a square can't be a circle, because if the square is a circle, then it's no longer a square. If rape is consensual, then it's no longer rape.
I somewhat see what you're saying. You do bring up a good point. My second question is, can you tell me why I got death threats from your chat last time after the stream was over? But I want to correlate this to something that you actually said. You said that you would not show your girlfriend on your live stream because we, mean MAGA people, you claim, would send death threats to your girlfriend or send death threats to you about your girlfriend. Well, Dean, why did your losing liberal team send me death threats?
You asked for it by joining the live.
But
how do you
Dean,
like
I
your
mean-
logic against you? No, I'm actually going to stand on that. I'm going to apply your logic against you so you know what it's like to be the victim. Okay? Because you're out here saying that, oh, all these women ask for it by like maybe going to a beach with a small bikini on. Maybe all these women ask for it by like putting their naked bodies on the internet. Maybe all these women ask for it by doing OnlyFans. Therefore, there's literally nothing wrong with a man barging into their dressing room. Okay, you ask for it by being on this live. And if you want to say, "Oh, Dean, how fucking dare you?" Thanks for conceding that women don't ask for it by putting their naked body on the internet, and they still reserve a right of fucking consent, which is an imperative and irremovable right that all people possess. So go ahead. Either tell me, Dean, okay, I did ask for it by joining this live like a fucking good little boy and suck it up, or, you know, call me crazy for saying that you asked for death threats and concede to the argument that you made about how and why it's not wrong for men to barge into the dressing rooms of naked women and girls.
Right. So, Dean, I'm going to answer that question for you. So, I actually joined this live looking for a debate. I didn't expect to get messages saying that I hope my head gets cut off, Dean. I really didn't, okay? I think that's a little crazy, especially from your fan base who...
Same way women go into women's dressing rooms expecting to get dressed and changed in privacy. They don't expect fucking predators to barge into their dressing room to look at their naked body. But remember earlier when you're saying, oh, that's not wrong?
Dean, that makes him a sexual predator, though? I thought they were all over the age of 18, no?
The same way that four corners it makes a square square. Yes, that does make Donald Trump a sexual predator.
Dean,
yes.
Wait, hold up. So do you know what it would mean to be a sexual predator? You understand that it has to be with someone under the age of 18, correct?
No, incorrect.
No, Dean, that's a child. Oh, well, yes, you're right. Okay, that can be... I'm actually going to fact check that right now.
Bro, okay, fact check it with your brain. If somebody was listen, if somebody rapes 100 adult women, are they a sexual predator?
I actually don't know the answer. Like, would they be?
Dude, this dude's a fucking lunatic.
Dean, I
you
thought
are
a
straight a
sexual predator
lunatic.
was
Here, oh
somebody
my
under the age of
god.
18.
Oh my
I thought it was somebody
god.
under the age
No,
of 18.
that's a pedophile.
Okay, you're right. So yes, yes, it would make them. So
oh my god, dude. Laura, shut up. Laura, thank you for the $10 on Venmo. Who says, imagine if MAGA men spent a fraction of the time defending women as they do defending Trump. Well, then they wouldn't be MAGA men, Lauren. It's paradoxical. Thank you for the $10. Gene, thank you for the $10 who says, Mean Dean, my man. What's going on, Gene? Appreciate you for being here. Patsy, thank you so much for the $30 donation who says, hey, Dean, celebrating my last day of school today. It's been a minute, but I'm back. Keep voicing love ya. I'm a teacher. Oh, Patsy, I hope that you're doing well. You know I love you, Patsy. You used to be tuning in all the time. You're legitimately one of my favorite people ever. Let's get through under Patsy W's down below in the chat. And thank you so much for the $30 dono. Show some love to Patsy down below. Allison, thank you for the $20 who says, Dean, my husband is deployed into this war right now. Him and I would lay in a bed listening to your debates every night, and he still asks how our favorite white boys, you and Parker, are. Miss him while watching your stream. Keep it up. Oh, well, I hope your husband is all right. I hope he stays safe, Allison. Shout out to you and him. Thank you for the $20, and thank you for being here. Abigail, thank you for the $2. Michelle, thank you so much for the $25 in Venmo, who says, side quest, do a deep dive into Ron's first wife's death. True. Jay, thank you for the $15. I really appreciate you. And Fasi, thank you for the $5 saying that the haircut is fresh. Thank you. Over on Super Chat, DJ, thank you so much for the $100 who says idiot collar based. Honestly, the best way to spend $100 possible. He dropped $100 just to call you an idiot, Lucas. Thank you so very much for the 100, DJ. Dude, I want to see 1,000 DJWs down below in that comment section. God damn, DJ. You're the fucking goat, dude. That is way too much money. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the love. Same thing to you, Xavier. Thank you for the $4. And then Marianne, thank you so much for the $14 over on PayPal. Thank you, Marianne. I hope that you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you. And I'll have to look into the 36 Berlin Olympics. I don't think I have. Thank you so much for the $14. With all that being said, we are caught up. If you want to help me make more bank, if you want to support me, you can find the Venmo and the PayPal, the link tree in the bio on TikTok, pin message on YouTube, and the @'s right there. Dean Withers without the Ian Withers. Just make sure that you double check your spelling. King with the $10 says, kick this fucking donut. It's astonishing how ignorant he is. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to this guy. Do you walk back earlier when you said that it's not wrong for men to barge into women's dressing rooms to look at their naked bodies? Do you take that back?
Dean, I'm still trying to prove you wrong on that. And actually, I'm saying the way Donald Trump did, you're calling sexual exploitation a crime, and I agree with that, Dean. But the level, Dean, that if Donald Trump literally raped somebody, yes, I would not support Donald Trump.
You have a
Dean,
wife. You have a wife. You take your wife to Kohl's to try and a dress for your honeymoon.
Yes.
She's naked in the dressing room trying that dress on.
Correct.
Floor manager, that's a man, opens her door to look at her boobs. What would you do to that man?
You gotta let me think about it. So does he own the bathroom?
Yes, he owns the Kohl's, yeah.
So necessarily, if he owns the room, he could walk in there. Like, he has honestly every right to walk in there. That doesn't, like, on a certain level, if he's like doing it in a sexual way, being like, oh, let me look at your naked body. Like, I want to see your naked body. Donald Trump did not walk in there and he's like, oh my God, women, let me look at you all naked. Let me look at all.
This is MAGA. I want this to scare the shit out of everybody because it should. This is who we're up against. They are deviant, psychologically fucked, evil predators. There is nothing, let me repeat this, nothing normal about what this guest is saying. Nothing normal in the slightest. You are a fucking bastard. An absolute caveman with no cognitive function to realistically interpret the world around you in any more but an incredibly small scoped, mundane, and evil way. There's no, it is disturbing to the max. You
Dude,
are
you used to be Republican,
fucked.
though. You used to be Republican, right?
You are so fucked. This is fucked, Lucas. I can't even believe the words that are leaving your mouth. Are you serious?
Yes, Dean. I am serious. I just gave you an actual very valid
Yeah,
point.
bro.
Yeah.
You need to be on a
You're-
list.
Dude,
you
your
need,
liberal
you
squad
need to
won't
be on a
listen.
list.
You,
Listen,
you guys are,
I'm gonna
Dude.
tell you the descriptive reason why your point is wrong. This goes
Go
without
ahead.
saying.
Go ahead.
So when you own a building that includes women's dressing rooms or bathrooms, if you're a man, you can't just barge in there and look at the naked women inside. Why? Because although you own that space, you, with your autonomy as the owner, have designated the purpose of that space to allow for there to be a reasonable expectation of privacy away from men, with an expectation of nudity inside of that space that they are only comfortable and consenting to because of the reasonable expectation of privacy away from men. You cannot
Trump didn't go
barge
there like
in
that, though.
to a space where there exists a reasonable expectation of privacy away from men, okay, just because you're the owner of this space. The second thing that I want to bring up here is you're just straight up, you're pro-pedophilia. You're saying,
Not pro-pedophilia
yes, you
at all,
are,
Dean. That's-
because you're
Dean,
saying,
wait,
yes, you are.
pedophiles
The reason why I'm
children,
saying that you're
pedophiles children.
pro-pedophilia is because if a man owns a building that a little girl is naked inside of, maybe she's
Dean, I
also
think
getting
that's
dressed.
wrong. I think that's so wrong.
So why is it
I
wrong
think
to
you
the
have-
girl, but not wrong to the woman?
Dean, these are two different scenarios, Dean.
But what's
He
the
was not in
difference
there
between
to
the scenarios that makes it wrong in one and not wrong in the other?
Because, Dean, he wasn't going in there to look at these girls like in a sexual way, like, oh,
No,
let me look at
what
you.
what
give
if
a little-
what if the man owner is going into the dressing room that the naked little girl is in, not to look at her in a sexual way? Is that wrong?
Yes, because it's a little girl, Dean.
So
It's a
then what's
little
the
girl.
difference? What's the relevant difference
Dean, it's
between
a
doing it to a little girl and
It's a
doing it to an
little
adult
girl,
woman?
Dean.
And what's the
Dean.
difference?
Dean, she's under the age of 18.
So
it's disgusting.
so what? What's the difference?
That's disgusting. Dean, she's a grown woman versus a little
What's the
infant girl.
difference? What's the difference?
I just told you.
The fact that one is under the age of 18?
I just
Okay,
told you.
so are you saying the difference is that one is under the age of 18, therefore they can't consent?
Yes.
So what makes it wrong is that it's unconsensual? So if the adult woman isn't consenting, then it's wrong?
Dean depends. Dean depends.
Depends? What the fuck do you mean depends?
Dean,
What
most
the
of the
what the
time-
fuck do you mean depends? You're saying, oh, it depends on if unconsensual sexual actions are wrong? Lucas,
So,
I'll
Dean,
slap
quick
the shit
question.
out you.
Okay, have fun.
I'd
man.
slap the
But-
shit out you, Lucas.
Yeah, I don't think so, dude. I'm like fucking 3 inches taller than you, man. You're crazy.
Yeah, three fucking inches. I'm sorry.
you're like
I
5
have
feet
listen.
tall. You're
I
tall,
have the
dude.
I have the vindication, okay, and anger of all of civilized society in my fucking palm, buddy. I'd slap the shit out you. You are
Dude, you got
gross
the
as
build
fuck.
of-
Get out my life. You want to start talking about builds. You know what? Get the fuck back up here, Lucas. Let's look at your build. No. No, let's publicly shame him. No. Feel free to come back. Literally just so I could publicly shame you. God, what an idiot. What a dude, this this fucking droid wants to talk about my build. Oh, your build team. Oh my fucking God, Lucas. Jesus Christ. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the box. I don't even know what to say about that. I'm gonna actually stay away from that. I'm gonna stay away from shaming him. That's because it doesn't just impact him. We're gonna go to get that next. Let's go. Ooh, that was close.
I just pooped myself.
Okay, Trey. We're gonna get that next guest loaded up into the box right now. Oh my God. I'm so disgusted by that. I'm having like trouble just like moving on. How did we get here, dude? Dude, they're just literally pro-sex crimes. That's the MAGA agenda. Pro-sex crimes. Jesus Christ. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in the box. We need to make sure that this guy's at pro-sex crimes. Hey, what do you think the age of consent should be?
Let me say something to you, Dean. How can you still support the traitor to Israel?
What do you think the age of consent should be?
18.
How old are you?
18.
What year were you born in?
07.
Are you a Trump supporter?
No, I'm a Groiper. And I think that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are both traitors to America.
Do you know what it means to be a Groiper?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think it means to be a Groiper?
To support the 2016 Trump that didn't take money from AIPAC and was attempting to demolish the deep state.
Okay. So that's not what it means to be a Groiper. Because I'm reading your post. I'm reading one of your posts. It says, right now I'm kind of far right and anti-Israel, pro-ICE, and believe Jesus is the best thing for America as well as a Christian America. And I believe it. I'm a national conservative.
Yep.
So being a Groiper is like a far right ideology that's kind of underpinned by kind of just hating other people, right? Hating black people, hating Hispanic people, hating.
That's not
women.
what it means to be a Groiper.
Well,
you, just you, building your app on Base 44. Describe it. And it's real. One thought leads to more thoughts. Layer by layer, taking shape. When you need your tools, bring them in. They just click. Okay, kick it up a notch. Create something smarter, something powerful. Style counts, so give it your touch. Big or small. Next idea hits at 2 a.m. Of course it does. Keep building. Ask yourself, wait, I built this? Damn right. Base 44. Build it your way.
Tired of digital mess on your Mac? It's time to finally try and see what Clean My Mac is all about. This cleaning app feels like a game. Clean millions of unnecessary files, duplicates, cache, and clutter in all corners of your Mac. like these hidden folders you'd never find on your own. And by the way, start controlling your apps before they start to control you.
Helps keep your Mac running securely and smooth.
The app has 29 million downloads, and the most common phrase people say is, wow. In just 3 minutes, you'll learn more about your Mac than in 5 years of using it. A super organized Mac. More space for your ideas. Use all 25 tools at zero cost for 7 days.
Why should what you have in between your legs determine your life path of what you spend your time doing?
That's not what it is. It's that at the start of creation, men were made to essentially lead and be the head of the household.
I actually don't believe you. I don't think that men were made to be the natural leaders. Or else men would be better at leading. And I don't think that men are better at leading.
They are. All leaders in history have been men.
Well, not quite all. There's been some leaders throughout history that have been women. And I understand the confusion that you're yielding from this, because if a lot of the leaders throughout history have been men, well, why doesn't that make men better at leading? Well, what I would say in response to that is, well, a lot of the systems that have produced leadership throughout history have been sexist. They haven't allowed women to even have the chance. Because, as you just said, okay, they've forced women to stay at home, cook, clean, and raise the kids. Like, for instance, you just said that women shouldn't be able to join the military.
Well, they weren't forced.
Women, under your view, wouldn't even have the opportunity to be a good leader in the military because you're telling them they should stay at home. Therefore, if we lived in your world, every good military leader we could think of would be a man. And because every good military leader we could think of would be a man, we would therefore believe that men are better at leading in the military.
Let me
so
say
we can
something.
therefore believe that women should stay at home. It's a big circle.
Let me say something. Before the Industrial Revolution, women they weren't forced. They chose to be head of the household rather than lead because they knew.
So that's also not true. So they were forced, literally.
Yes, it is.
So no. So before the industrial
in Europe.
Okay. So in America, because I know about American law, women were legally prevented from working night shifts. Women were legally prevented from working around 55% of all other jobs. And women, in order to get any of the jobs remaining, would of course have to have a bank account, but they were legally prevented from opening a bank account. So the issue here is they were actually legally prevented from working. And the reason why they were legally prevented at working is because the men said that they'd be better off at home.
Well, I'm talking about like 1600s Christendom. Like,
so I'm not too familiar with Christendom 1600s, but what I do know is that misogyny only gets worse the further back in history we go, right? So I would assume in 1600 Christendom, well, women weren't legally prevented from working because the concept of a woman working didn't even exist, right? Like, we could agree that there are like really bad things that we'll probably discover in the future that aren't legal right now because the concept of doing them doesn't even exist. And that same concept probably applies to Christendom in the 1600s with women working. It just wasn't something that people really even conceptualized of.
Let me say something.
But I would assume that's much earlier than 1600, by the way.
It could be anywhere from there and back. But let me say something real quickly. In modern times, if you gave the woman the option to rather stay home and not work rather than go to work every day, I'm pretty sure they'd take the option to stay home.
This is also another misleading argument. I think that if you gave most people the option to stay at home and live well compared to going out and working, that a lot of people would take that, man or woman. But see, the thing is it's not about let me clarify what I'm saying here. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. It's not about if somebody were to be given this option, how would they choose? Well, it's about them not being illegally prevented from making that decision on their own. Okay? There are a shit ton of women that want to work, that want to generate enough money to earn their own keep, just like a shit ton of men want to work to generate enough money to earn their own keep.
Okay, that's fair.
And honestly, if women didn't want to work, then how do we get to where we're at? How do we get to a point where women could open bank accounts, women could work, women could vote, women could do all these things? How would we get here if women didn't want them in the first place?
Well, okay, so basically, after the industrial or World War II, at home couldn't produce the equipment that was needed for the war. And since I said that World War II was basically a production of the Industrial Revolution, in that case, it's saying they were forced to work. They didn't have a choice, and over time they adapted to modern standards to where work for wages.
Okay. So even during the Industrial Revolution and World War II, women were not forced to work. Women just finally got the right to work. So they did because they wanted to. They wanted to be able to support their husbands overseas. They wanted to be able to help support their country. And they also wanted to be able to help support their family, right? Because you need money to live, especially in World War II. So that's absolutely wrong. Not exactly. But how about this? What are the biological differences between men and women that make men better at leading?
There's no biological, but there is mental, like how men usually have more charisma. I'm sure there's some other cases.
I think that
but they have more
I think
charisma.
If you think men have more charisma, I won't say.
Let me keep.
Go. I'm not gonna say what I. No, go ahead.
Let me keep going. Okay. And just how you talked about how women have less access to universities and stuff, and men have traditionally been allowed to go to military universities like West Point to gain more combat knowledge. And over time, that's kind of been passed down.
Can you repeat that, please?
Everything?
No, just the second half of that. Well, I want to focus on the first part. You think that men have more riz?
No, there's a different meaning for charisma.
What's charisma?
It's like the willingness to lead.
Men are more willing to lead?
Wait. This kind of will sound a little off topic, but do you know what a commissar was?
No, I think I think that even you think that women have more of a willingness to lead because you said that they should be the natural leaders of the household.
No,
right?
I said men.
Meanwhile, men should go. So men should be the leaders of the household. So then, what's the place of a woman?
They raise their children and they tutor them and school them.
So so were you homeschooled?
No, because that's just what happened when you have an economy like ours.
So do you think that we should abolish like the public schooling program and just say women should do that?
No, I don't believe that. I just believe that it should be reformed.
So you think that like a woman's purpose is to be a mom and that's it?
Essentially, yeah, but they could have more.
Do you understand? What if like the genetic lottery, happened a little bit differently for you and you were born with a vagina? How would you feel knowing that society thinks that you have one specific purpose for one specific thing to have kids and raise them? Meanwhile, the men around you could have whatever purpose they want. They could be a doctor, they could be a lawyer, they could be a scientist, they could be an astronaut, they could be a president, they could be a lawmaker, they could be a janitor, they could be a garbage man. I don't think that like we should have more options of what we want to do with our lives because of what's in between our legs. In fact, I'd argue that that's antithetical to the notion of freedom. A lot of people on the right like to scream and shout about freedoms and personal liberties, but there's nothing more restrictive to freedoms and personal liberties than society telling you that you have one designated function, one designated purpose, and anything outside of that designated function and purpose is just simply not something you could do. So when you say that you want freedom, you're saying that you want freedom for men. When you're saying you want a smaller government, you want a smaller government for men. But for women, no, you need a bigger government to prevent them from being doctors, to prevent them from being lawyers, to prevent them from being astronauts, to prevent them anything more than being an incubator for a kid.
It depends on.
So you're very
Depends on what
anti-freedom and
household you were
pro-big
raised in.
government.
If you're raised,
what point do you realize that like you're the fascists if you think that you want a government to control the personal actions, proclivities, behaviors, and attitudes of half of society because of what they were born with in between their legs? Like that's absolutely government like overreach, right?
you've made 2 points, and I'm going to respond to both. The first one is, it all depends on what household you were born in. If you're born in a feminist household, of course, you're going to have more willingness to be more feminist. But if you're born in a traditional conservative household, I think you'll be more adaptive to the traditional roles.
Well, I think that when you're kidnapped, you could develop Stockholm syndrome, which is being psychologically manipulated into thinking that your kidnapper is great. And I think very similarly that the patriarchy can create these perceptions, even to an extent held by women, that they're supposed to do this thing. That's where internalized misogyny comes from. But that has nothing to do with the legitimate aptitudes or abilities of women, and more so to do with the ability of a man to control women.
You said that people that support traditional roles are fascists. So
I do think it is absolutely fascist, authoritarian, and overreaching is held to support a government that limits and restricts the abilities of women because they're women. Absolutely.
Okay. So you think Winston Churchill was a fascist? Do you think that Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a fascist? Do you think that Teddy Roosevelt was a fascist? Do you think George Washington was a fascist?
So George Washington was definitely a fascist.
You don't support him then? You don't like George Washington then?
No, dude, he was a slave owner. He was.
So you don't like the founder of our country,
right? Was he one of the best fascists at that point in history? Well, I mean, he was like one of the better fascists, but we're still operating this gradient of fascists. Like, yeah, he was better than the fascists that like supported like monarchies and dictatorships because after he won the Revolutionary War, he just wanted to go live at his farm. He didn't even want to be in government, and then the people were like, "Please be our president," and that kind of set up somewhat of a system of democracy, in which was then made significantly better than it was at the start when only men with property could vote. Okay, but he's still on that gradient of being a fascist.
So do you think that he's a fascist because do you think, so you don't like the founder of our country?
Right.
That is absurd, to be honest.
I don't think it's absurd to say that you don't like slave owners. And I hate that what I'm saying is far. Like, I know what I'm saying is like a little bit more to that progressive left. Like, I'm kind of like, I'm inching in the territory that, a lot of liberals stay away from. But like, come on, it's true. Like, I think two things can be true at once. I think that we could acknowledge that, Washington was one of the better fascists, but he was still a fascist. We shouldn't like fascists. We shouldn't like slave owners. We shouldn't endorse people who created systems, although it was a system better than many other systems that existed on planet Earth at the time. He still yet created a system in which universally created disparities against women and people of color. People of color weren't people, and women were maids, right? Like, yeah, we shouldn't like people that create those systems.
I don't like slavery. I think slavery is a terrible thing. But I do like him as a person. He was a great role model. He made the country, and he made the greatest political system of our time.
I get what you're saying. There were some attributes of George Washington that were much better than the attributes of other leaders alive at the time, right? Like the whole don't want to be king thing, if I'm going to be a leader, then we got to set up a system in which is more considerate of the opinions of others than just myself. Yeah, that was better than other people.
Also,
but just because you're better than other people doesn't mean you're good. Like if I'm in a room with 50 rapists and I'm just a sexual predator because I've sexually exploited a handful of women. Okay, well, if we were to like grade the wrongness of like sexual violence, I would say that it's like worse to rape a child than it would be to barge into a woman's dressing room. But like, this doesn't mean that if you have barged into a woman's dressing room that you're a good person. No, you're still like really shitty. It just happens to be the case that there's even more shitty people that exist. So like what I'm saying is that, well, George Washington was definitely better than like other people, right? For sure. But like, he ultimately still was a slave owner, ultimately still like didn't view black people as people, ultimately thought that women should be secluded to the home. Like, yeah, all these things definitely didn't make him a good person, just like a better person than a handful of other people alive at that time.
Another thing is, you can't hold George Washington to modern political standards way back from even when he was from way back in the day. Because at that time, that was like the conservative liberal norm at the time. That wasn't like obscene or obscure. So you can't exactly call him a fascist because fascist is a modern term.
Well, see, the thing is I don't think that morality is reflective of social norms. So just because something is socially normal I think it's reflective of moral truths. I think that moral truths are derivative of something other than the popular consensus. So just because it was the popular consensus that slavery was okay, just because it was the popular consensus that women should stay at home, just because it was the popular consensus that maybe only rich white men should have the right to vote, doesn't mean that those things yet were bad and made that person a bad person. Like I could give you an example. Let's like imagine an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. There's been a community of people thriving on this island for the last 1,500 years, gone undetected by any modern tools of discovery, satellite imagery, so on and so forth. And on this island, they don't have an age of consent, okay? And the 40-year-olds on this island will marry the 3-year-olds. And as soon as they hit puberty, they rape them. We're not going to say that those are good people. No, they're bad people. They're child rapists, okay? Even though on that island, child rape is socially normal and has been for 1,500 years. And if you disagree with me here, then you're arguing that child rapists can be good people. And ultimately, I just fundamentally reject that child rapists can be good people.
Okay, that's fair. But again, that's like their norm. If you say that to them, they're going to think that's completely outlandish.
Yeah, the same way Jeffrey Epstein probably thought he was a
Welcome to the new generation of web creation, where your vision and technology works as one, so you can create the way you think. Wix.
Can you really earn a degree without paying anything?
Yes, you can earn a degree at Maestro without paying anything. If you qualify, you receive a scholarship to cover any out-of-pocket expenses, plus you get a free laptop.
And how does that work?
So it's not like a regular college or traditional university. You basically have Maestro, your AI tutor that teaches you at your own pace with your own learning styles.
Sounds super cool. How do I apply?
So just go to maestro.org or click the link below. You'll chat with Maestro.
Oh, terrible.
Are like two of like the worst things you could do to a human, and often slavery leads to child rape. Like if they didn't view black people as humans, if they didn't, then they would be willing to turn the children's vaginas into play toys. That's common sense.
The modern standard of morals comes from Christianity. If you disagree, say something about it.
Oh, yeah. I think that the modern standard of morality in America comes from secularism.
Not America, the world. The modern standard.
Well, I don't think that there's a worldly standard of morality. I don't think there is.
Okay, that's fair. But how do you think it comes from secularism, though? That just doesn't make sense.
Sure. The reason why I think that it comes from secularism is because if it wasn't for the secularists, America would be as it was before the Civil War. Because remember, American slavery was actually propped up by a very deviant and twisted version of Christianity, where they would give these slaves the slave Bible, Inside of the slave Bible, it would include verses like Leviticus 25, verses 44 through 46, that says the Israelites are allowed to enslave the non-Israelites, and they'd convince them that they were the non-Israelites. And by the way, I'm not saying that it's impossible to be a moral Christian. I know a lot of moral Christians. I bet a lot of moral Christians are even watching this live right now. I'm just saying that what led to the enlightenment of modern day morality was not the defeat of perverted Christianity with moral Christianity, but rather the defeat of perverted Christianity with secularism, because often the moral Christians were ostracized and called heretics, and then they were usurped by the majority. Meanwhile, the secularists were ostracized and called heretics, and they were not usurped by the majority. They fought for a better tomorrow.
That's true, but Christianity or moral Christianity literally laid the foundation for modern morality, because
when
because
how about
like
this?
stuff
When,
like
when,
losing
when did that happen? Did moral Christianity lead to the 19th Amendment? Did moral Christianity lead to the 13th Amendment? Did moral Christianity lead to the 14th Amendment?
well
No, moral
kinda,
like
from a long branch of things.
I think that secularism is responsible for the Enlightenment ideals and enlightened ideals that led to these things.
With all due respect, can you please let me make a point without
Sure.
interrupting me? Thank you. All these things like murder and another good example, murder and slavery, they were like the cultural norm before Jesus came. And after the New Testament of the Bible was created, people started drifting more far away from that, from all over the place, especially like Byzantium and the Western Roman Empire before it fell apart. It kind of became the cultural norm, and the European countries adapted that. Sure, they might have twisted it for a while, but it all came from the moral Christians.
Racial chattel slavery wasn't like a thing until like way after Jesus was gone. Like super wrong. Yeah, racial chattel slavery didn't exist for a very long time until after Jesus was gone. Hey, how about this? Can you point me towards a verse in the Bible that even talks about race?
Well, all of the ones that mention the Israelites.
Well, being an Israeli, that's not a race; that's a nationality.
Well, Jewish isn't a race.
Jewish that's not a race either. That's a religion or an ethnicity. I think that my point here is racial chattel slavery actually begun way after Jesus was gone, and we saw the normalization globally of racial chattel slavery through the transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah, the slave trade was a terrible thing.
Did the transatlantic slave trade happen before Jesus came or after Jesus came?
Obviously after.
Right. And it was propped up in America by what? Christian nationalism.
But the moral foundation before
Do you
it was
agree?
twisted came
Do you
from
do you do you
Bible.
agree that American slavery was propped up by Christian nationalism?
I would disagree.
What was it propped up by?
Does it have to be propped up by something?
Yeah, it's going to have to be ultimately supported by some foundational moral beliefs.
But what if it wasn't? What is it called? What if it wasn't? Or what if it was? What is that? How do you say that? What is the past tense for It's like Judaist,
Like Christian,
not Christian, but Jewish values.
You could just say Jewish values. You think it
My
was
bad.
propped up by Jewish values?
Oh, I'm
So-
not
so
saying
America
it
was a
I'm
Jewish
saying that
country?
What there's a lot of what's it called? There's a lot of like I don't know how to say it. It's Jewish politicians at the time.
God, man, listen. I think that we saw
Especially-
Christian Judeo values, right? So
That's
those
not
are,
a thing.
Christian Judeo values aren't a thing.
No.
No.
Judeo values are the Old Testament. Modern Christian values are the New Testament.
Okay,
Not a
but see,
thing.
who's the God of the Old Testament?
God.
Right, your God, right? And where are the Ten
Yeah.
Commandments found?
The Old Testament.
So, do you think that the Ten Commandments would include moral values relevant and important to you today?
Yeah.
Right.
But that doesn't make it a whole set of values. In fact,
Well, I mean, you just said that
we
Jewish
should be
values
following
are
Jesus.
you just said that Jewish values are important to you because you said that Jewish
But
values are the Old
the
Testament.
Jews don't.
And then you said that
the
there's
Jews don't
values in the
follow
Old Testament that are important to you.
The Jews don't believe in Jesus.
So, yeah, they don't believe
So how
that
can there
Jesus
be
is God.
The whole point of the Christian religion is Jesus. So what? You can't have two. It's like
So,
a.
even though that's the whole point of the religion, still yet they're shared values, right?
It's like a positive
particularly
and a
lot of
negative
those
battery.
values.
If you have a religion that doesn't believe in Jesus and one that does,
Okay.
and try and force them
So,
together
so,
doesn't
so
make
do you
sense.
so do you think that the Confederacy was Jewish?
Not exactly, but I think Lord Rothschilds had
Well,
a
I
major
mean,
foothold on the
you said that ultimately
Confederacy.
slavery was propped up by Jewish values. Okay, so the Confederacy is a side that fought to keep slavery. So therefore, you would argue the Confederacy is Jewish.
Well, the Rothschilds had significant influence.
Okay, yeah, just like Robert E. Lee had significant influence. Robert E. Lee was a Christian nationalist.
He was a. Yeah.
Was
he?
Robert E. Lee
Wait, was he?
Jewish? Yes.
What's your information on that? What points to that other than him
Robert
being
E.
Christian at the time?
He wrote a lot, and he talks about his faith in his writing.
Like where?
Like in his writing, like, are you asking for like a specific piece of writing from Robert E. Lee where he wrote about that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to name one off the top of my head, but if you go on Google and you type in Robert E. Lee faith or religious beliefs,
Well,
it
just
will tell
because
you
you're
he was a
Christian doesn't make you. If you're Christian, that doesn't make you a Christian nationalist.
Well, the reason why I say they were Christian nationalists is because they used their quote unquote Christian ideals to influence the nation of slavery. Like that
doesn't
was
make it nationalist. So,
well, what's
think that-
nationalistic about it is influencing the nation's policy with the religion. So what the point that I'm trying to get across the line here is that when people would struggle with moral issues related towards slavery, or even the slaves would be like, hey, I'm not supposed to be enslaved. Well, the way that they responded to this was via the creation of the slave Bible, which told the slaves that they were supposed to be slaves, propped up via a perverted offshoot of Christian nationalism. This is history. Like, this is just history. You were denying
so-
history, Jace.
let me say something. If you think so,
Yeah,
you
you
said
think the
that since he
galaxy.
has an
Do you-
influence, since he's Christian, he has an influence over the country. That makes him a nationalist. So, if you think that Kamala Harris has influence over the country, does that make
I'm
her
sorry.
a nationalist?
I'm sorry. Do you know what the slave Bible is?
No.
Oh my God! Yeah, it was a Bible, quote unquote, published in 1807, and it omitted around 90% of the Old Testament and 50% of the New Testament. Condensed the Bible down from over
See, hold on.
1100 chapters to 200
Can I say something?
chapters. It removed like all of the stories of like liberation of oppressed people, promoted
Can I
a
say something?
subservience, and highlighted sections of the Old Testament, such as Leviticus, where it talks about
I say
godly
something?
endorsed slavery. And they created the slave Bible to attempt to convince the slaves and the slave owners that what they were doing was righteous and in accordance with the moral commandment of God. So
Can I say
this is what
something?
proves that the transatlantic slave trade, especially American slavery, was propped up by this deviant version of Christianity.
Okay, what I'm gonna. I completely forgot what I was gonna say. What was it? Oh yeah, you said that 90% of the Old Testament was kept, and 50% of the New Testament was kept, right?
No, 90% of the Old Testament was removed, okay, because there's a bunch of liberation stories in Exodus and whatnot, and 50% of the New Testament was removed.
No, I think you did. You are you sure you said? I'm pretty sure you said kept.
No, I said removed.
That point doesn't make any sense then.
It does make sense because the Old Testament, for a
No,
lot
no,
of it,
no, no.
focuses
What I was
on
gonna
the
say, what I was
liberation of
gonna say.
oppressed people. Like
What
the
I was
whole,
gonna say.
freeing the slaves from Egypt. Like that's like what 3 books of the Old Testament is all about. So that of course there's going to be more removed from the Old Testament.
It was nice talking to you, Dean. I gotta go, dude. Thanks, though.
Cassieray Mary, I appreciate you so much for the $10 over on Super Chat. Thank you so much, Mary. Rodney, thank you so much for the $10 as well. I appreciate you. Show some love to Rodney. Let's see here. Shins, thank you so much for the $50. Who says, I never understand when people argue that we can't judge historical figures with a modern lens. What's wrong now was wrong then. Damn the illegality to hell. Yeah, I appreciate you so much, Shins, for the $50. Thank you so very much for that love and support. Let's get 500 Shins W's. Same thing to, let's see here. Oh my goodness. DJ, thank you so much for another $100 over on Super Chat. Thank you so much, DJ. Let's get 1,000 DJ W's down below. Seriously, that is super fucking kind of you. Thank you so much, DJ. DJ sent this a while ago when we were talking to Lucas, who says, here's another $100 to kick him. He paid me $100 to kick Lucas. I'm sorry that I'm just seeing that now, man. We did get Lucas gone. Thank you so much, man. And then T with another $100, who says, piggybacking off of DJ's dono to add another $100 to also kick this danger to society. Well, okay, I'm so sorry that I didn't see those donations earlier. Trust me, we got Lucas out. Honestly, Lucas is probably like one of the worst people we've had on this live ever. He was just explicitly like pro sex crimes. T and DJ, I appreciate you both so much for the $100 donations. Genuinely, that is so incredibly kind. Thank you both so much. I really appreciate it. Please show some love to T and DJ down below in that comment section. Thank you so very much. That is just beyond kind of you. I don't deserve it. That is so much money. Thank you. Karen over on Venmo. Thank you, Karen, for the $10, who says men want credit for quote unquote allowing women to work, vote, and have rights. Women want credit for not burning the whole thing down after centuries of bullshit. MAGA sucks. So true. Thank you for the $10, Karen. Jasmine, thank you so much for the $50. Shout out to Jasmine, who says, hey, it's Jazz and Ian. I had a calm debate with my MAGA mother, and I had to explain to her that just because a politician is in the party that you align with doesn't mean that you have to support them. She didn't understand. Oh, honestly, I think a lot of Americans don't understand that. Thank you so much for the $50, Jasmine. Shout out to you and Ian. Like you, as you already know, one of my favorite couples on here. Thank you both. Shout out to Jasmine down below. Jennifer, thank you for the $25, who says, just to appreciate the patience you have. Thank you for doing what you do. Well, thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate you for the $25 donation. You were awesome. Billy, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate you. And Stephanie, oh my God, Stephanie, thank you so much for the $100 donation on Venmo, who says for 1 gallon of gas under Trump. Stephanie paid $100 to make a banger joke. I fucking love you for that. Thank you so much for the support. Genuinely, thank you so fucking much. And Shannon, thank you for the $100 as well, who says bear. She sent that when we had Lucas on. Abso-fucking-lutely, Shannon. You know, I don't think a bear would tell you that you don't have consent and you're not a person because maybe you posted a nude on social media on OF a while back. And turns out that actually wasn't even Lucas's argument. It got worse. At the start, he was arguing that women lose consent when they like post a nude online. By the end, he was arguing that women don't lose consent because they never had it to begin with, and that men just own their bodies. Thank you both so very much. Please show some up to Shannon, Stephanie, T, and DJ. You guys are super fucking kind, genuinely super fucking kind. Teresa, thank you for the $10, who says, it's been a night of incredible ignorance and misogyny. including female misogyny, which really, really hurts. As always, really grateful for you speaking up for women. I appreciate you for the $10, Teresa. And I think that is a pretty good recap of our debates today. It was literally just 4 hours of misogyny. That's all it was. We didn't talk about domestic policy once today. We didn't talk about the economy once today. I think we talked about the war in Iran for 5 minutes. Every other moment of this 4-hour live stream has been trying to convince people that misogyny is bad, that women have consent. Like, oh, so true, Teresa. Ivy, thank you for the $1 Ava. Sorry, Sophia, thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate you. You said that your mom battled chronic illness. I'm also chronically ill. Every day I'm getting worse and my doctors don't know what to do anymore. Oh, Ava, listen, I'm sorry. I wish you the very, very, very best of luck, Ava. Genuinely. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. Oh, this is actually Sophia. Oh, I get it now. I don't know if you've been watching for a while. You guys remember Sophia, who joined up on our live stream. She was crying. I just kicked her and moved on. She's sending me this message saying that she's struggling with chronic illness. The doctors don't know what to do anymore. And she wanted to talk to me about me having some info of what could help. Listen, Sophie, I appreciate you so much for viewing me as an individual that can help you with the chronic illness that you are experiencing. And it breaks my heart to say this, but it's the honest truth. I'm not qualified. I am a political debater. I could talk about. I do. I mean, do you just want to? Should we do like a jawline comparison of me and Kirk?
Yeah, like an edit.
Who do you think? Who do you think Mogsu? I think objectively, I Mog Kirk. Tiny face Kirk doesn't have shit on me, dude.
Respectfully, I think he mods you, but
I don't know. Show me one picture of Kirk where you're like, damn, he's mogging. Well, I guess, listen, that one photo of him playing basketball in like college. All right, he had potential.
Yeah.
He had potential, but it's like it just the moment he started regurgitating fascist nonsense, it withered away.
I guess, man. But have a good night.
All right. We're going to go to end the stream, folks. Hit that follow button on your way out on TikTok. Drop a sub on YouTube. It's totally free. We do these debate streams every day. Hopefully the debates tomorrow won't be so centered around just bold-faced misogynists. I'm so tired. And I still got to go to the gym. God damn. What a long night it'll be for me. Have an amazing night, you guys. It's Friday. If you're going out, stay safe. Peace, love. Good night and goodbye. Forms of treatment.
Tell Monday what you need. We're creating an agent and naming him Tony. Now let's give him context. I'm giving Tony access to the relevant.
You want to send me a message under that PayPal dono? Feel free. Explain to me what you're interested in. I'll see if I could help. Probably won't be me helping, but you know, I know people. This person in the comment section named Alexia wants to debate. I was honestly just going to end the stream. But we'll get her up here.
Oh my god. Sorry.
His name are see you. I think objectively, or one photo potential nonsense. It's totally free. We do these debate streams every day. Hopefully the debates tomorrow won't be so centered around just bold-faced misogynists. I'm so tired. I still got to go to the gym. God damn. What a long night it'll be for me. Have an amazing night, you guys. It's Friday. If you're going out, stay safe. Peace, love. Good night and goodbye.
And that ends another episode of Dean Exposed. Stay tuned for more here. As always, have fun, be safe,